Oh, hi, you guys. Oh, just a minute. I get piece of paper. Piece of paper. Piece of paper. Gotta pull it out of the. Just a minute. Just oh, good grief. Pull a piece of paper out of the printer, and I got a whole bunch. Okay. All I'm doing today. Oh, tonight. It's 2:20 a.m. I was asleep, but now I'm awake, and so I figured I'd iron some paper dry. Maybe these papers are too wet. Just a second. Let me check if I can pull this back off of the cushioned sheet. Oh yeah, there we go. That's better. Get it off of there. I was making some paper, and in this paper I have. This was actually, I was cutting the edges off of a book pages out of an old book, because all I wanted was the print of the page. And so all the outside of the page, I saved that. I had a whole stack of it. So I'm just going to make more paper out of that. Now I'm going to see if I can. And I've made paper many times before, but I got to put the piece of paper over that. But I always let it air dry. I've not ever just, okay, I'll go this way with, put some copy paper over it, and then, but then I heard a lot of people iron their paper dry, and so I am ironing it. Okay, now it looks like it's not soaking through so much, so I think it's drying pretty good. Yeah, see, that piece is dry. Let me see. Okay. I've been doing pretty good these days. For you all who have been a little concerned, because I've been a little concerned. My family's been a little concerned. Um, a little concerned about me because I've kind of put myself in a funk of some kind, and I'm a people pleaser. I want to please people. And I want everybody to be happy. Now, I try to be happy. I always look for the good in everything, and I mean everything. And so, because there is good in everything. And I know a lot of people will disagree with that. And my son, my two sons and grandson were in a car accident a little over a week ago. It was a pretty serious car accident. And the car that my youngest son was driving, somebody pulled out and not in front of him, just right into him. Somebody made a left turn into him. And that ended that car. But and that's sad. And they're all three of the boys that were in the car. They're hurting. They've got some problems, that are going to take a while to heal. But they have problems that will heal. They got problems that will heal. They're going to heal. And if my son had been 1 split second 2 inches farther up in the road, or that car wouldn't have hit in that fender, it would have hit him straight in his door. And and he could have been really hurt bad. So, that's what I look at. I am one who does not look at what problems there are. It's what problems could have been, but didn't. Could have happened, but didn't. And so that's what I look at. I look at that, and that's always been, it could have been so much worse. And then there was another car accident just a couple nights ago in our town, and somebody run a red light and then hit somebody else, and that somebody else is gone, completely gone. And that could have been my son. And and sometimes it's hard to find good in something bad. And for instance, this family that just lost somebody in a car accident a couple of nights ago. Um, I don't know them. I don't know them. I have prayed for them quite a bit. The ones that did lose a loved one, and but then you say, well, where can you find good in that? Well, that gentleman that got killed. Yeah. What would you find good? Um, I'm reaching for more paper. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know him, but you can't say well, it is very bad. It is very bad. This gentleman lost his life. But now, will that bring the family closer together? Will the loss of his life, and I don't know if he's got kids. I don't know anything, but except that he lost his life. And so if that's all you think about is that he lost his life, um, will more people be aware of those red lights ahead that you've got to stop? Will that accident say to other people um, that you really got to watch for them red lights up ahead, um, and will this accident avoid other accidents from happening? And some people don't look at things like that, but I do, even though that is horrible that that guy lost his life. Um, and his family, I have prayed for his family and loved ones, um, you know, hoping that they're all right. But, then even if there's a glimmer of good that comes out of it, and that people are more aware of, um, I don't know if the person driving fell asleep, the person that did the hitting fell asleep or what, but you know, it may awareness may come from it. Awareness, which so if you look deep enough, something good. Now this paper, I'll tell you what's in this paper. This I put the paper in. I usually use a blender, but my blender's broke. Well, so I'm using a food processor. Well, my food processor is broke too, but I found by goofing around with it, my daughter and I were messing with it, and there's a little piece missing off of it, so it doesn't automatically turn on. And so I got a little drill bit, and I can push that drill bit down in this little hole and make it run. That's the way it works. So now, I think I have to do some research on my paper. In this paper here, you know what I can do? I can go over this I bet I can go over this paper with some matte medium and just kind of, because I can see some of my feathers. I put, what you see in here is purple glitter. There's purple glitter in this paper pulp. These longer pieces like this are feathers, pieces of feathers, where I just cut the feather apart. And then the brown specks that you see in the paper is tea, out of a tea bag. And I think in the next bunch I make, I want to put some, I want to tear the tea bag up so the tea bag pieces are in there too. And it's just fun making this paper. And I figured out the right amount of pulp to put in each one of the decal things, so it's making the right now here these three are dry, the right thickness of paper, you know. So now this one here, this one I have some dried rose petals, and I wanted my dried rose petals to somehow get in the paper, but I can see that they're lifting up. So this one here, did I have, yeah, I had a little bit of feathering in this one too. But look how the edge looks. Look at that deckled edge. That's a natural deckled edge. That is so pretty. That is so pretty. I love this paper. I just love doing different things. And so this is something I haven't done my handmade paper for a while because I do it in my kitchen. And because I do it in my kitchen, ooh, this one's going to be pretty. Because now my couching sheets, some people say they're couching and some people say cooching, so I don't know which one they are. I'm going to lay them out in the yard today to dry them. Now this one is very thin in some spots I'm seeing. This piece I had more feathers, put more feathers in this one. But even still, though it's thin in places, that is still so pretty. And so it's real wet. See how, as I go over with the iron, how that wet is coming through. So, but this is the first time I've ever ironed them dry. Usually I put them just in, I get as much water out as I can with the sponges. And then I just let them dry in between dry couching sheets. But I don't have a lot of couching sheets, so I can't do too many. And then I just let them air dry, or I'll put them in a press. I have a paper press that I put them in to press them and get them so they'll stay nice and flat. You can just put like books over them, or you know, for weight, you can do that too. But what I did is I'm going to be watching for a new blender, or not a new blender, but at the thrift shop, a lot of times they have blenders, and I think people will get new blenders for Christmas maybe, and they'll throw their old blenders to the thrift shop, that I'm hoping for, and so I can get a new old blender. But what I do is I tear up. Some people only blend enough for one piece of paper at the time, and it tells you how much paper, because it says like one piece of this here paper, like this copy paper, torn up and put it in the blender with water, couple cups of water, and it will make a piece of paper almost this much paper again. And so, and they measure that way. Well, what I do is I just take a whole bunch of paper, and I took a whole bunch of my edges that I had cut off, and I put them in the food processor, and I just filled up the food processor with water then. And then I just gave it a good good stirring with the food processor. And then I dip out about a third of a cup of the pulp and pour it into the decal, into the form that I think it's called decal. And look at this one. Now this was real thin. I didn't have as much in here. I had more feathers in this one. What I do then is after I have the pulp in the decal, that's when I cut up the feathers, and I put the feathers in here. And so each paper that I do is each page is different. But now that ironed out, that dried fast. But see, real thin there on that. So if I was to mat this, if I was to take a piece of paper and mat this piece on, like I got some red feather in here. So there's some red speckles. So now I'm thinking if I were to put that on a piece of red paper, I can grab some, ouch, iron's hot. See how you can see through that. Well, anyway, that I think that would be pretty. So what I do with these pages is, who knows. So this is the last one right here now that I have ready to dry. If I was to let these dry naturally, it would take days. The way I normally do it, it takes days to dry. That's why I thought, well, other people are ironing. I'm going to iron. I've got to iron. You see these. Now I have to let these dry. But I got a table out on I got a big table on my back porch. And I'm going to lay them all out on that table. And then those will dry because I reuse those papers a lot. Those are like blotting paper. But I've taken over my kitchen and it's a mess right now because it's a mess because I've been making paper out of paper. Now, I know, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what everybody's sleeping right now, so I'm a little quiet. And then I'm getting over this being quiet stuff too. I'm being a rebel. I decided I'm going to be a rebel. I've been kind of hibernating, since I have new people living in my house. I'm always just so afraid. I'm just afraid of, I don't know. I'm real quiet so I don't wake them in case they're sleeping. I try and keep everything area all neat and tidy for them. I don't want to be my regular messy person. But what's happening to me by doing this is I'm shutting down. I'm shutting down. And I love my son and my daughter-in-law. I do. I love them dearly. I love that they're here with me. I'm glad that they moved to Florida and that I can be part of their lives and I can get to know them. I love that. I love it. But I'm not loving me real much lately. So there's a lot of things that I like to do because I do a lot of different crafts. And I can have, like right now, I got painting going on over at my desk over there. I'll paint a little and let that dry. Just mixed media painting, nothing fancy. But then that'll dry before I put on. It's ready for another coat of another layer of something, which I'll go over to that and I'll work on that some. But right now I'm just ironing paper. But then I can make paper. I got all my stuff still in the kitchen to make paper. Now this is what I got out of this batch that I made. I guess I made 5 sheets. But there, I've got those 5 sheets ironed. Now see, you can also, I'm going to try a thing with leaves. I just burnt my hand on that iron. Not bad, just little. And see there, that's good because I only burnt a little spot. Didn't burn the whole thing. And so I didn't harden this to still have my hand. Okay, now I got to work on this with the rose petals. These are completely dried rose petals. And that I soaked them a little bit in water, but I can see how it's peeling up here. Oh yeah, and then there's some of the paper pulp on top of that one. But I still like it. I like it. It's nice. Okay, this one I'm happy. I'm happy with it. It's got some thin spots. It's kind of thin here. I like that one. I think that turned out really good. I like that one. Really like this one. Now my paper pulp kind of squashed underneath the decal and made it more of a deckled edge even. I really like this one. I really, really like this one. And what I would probably do is I'll probably make a page in a larger journal and maybe I would leave this out like this. I would mat it onto a page. And then maybe I would have put a quote somewhere or maybe an image somewhere and a quote. I love my quotes. I don't know yet. I love the purple glitter in there. I was a little bit worried about ironing the glitter because that's plastic. This one here has more tea in it. So this one is more of a, this one isn't as arty as this one. See, this one here is quite arty. So I would not want to cover all the feathers and stuff I have in there. But this makes me think even more about what I can put in to the pulp. This one here being more plain, I can add more to this one, and it's perfect weight. Perfect. I think I got that weight down by putting I've got 1/3 of a cup measure. I dip that and I put that in that much into the wooden frame, which with the screen on the bottom, and I mix it with my hands, and then pull that frame up in this. I need to do a video one day out there in the kitchen when I make my paper. And so that one's good. And then I really like this one too. This one's got more leaves, not leaves, more brown feathers are in there. And I just cut the feathers apart. I love this one. But I just love what comes out of just the handmade paper, even not knowing what I'm going to do with it. Just even not knowing what you're going to do with it, it's still, it, make sure I didn't have none hid up there somewhere. But yep, that's what I did. That's my paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 sheets of paper I made. Now I may go ahead and the next ones I make, maybe I'll put some color in. So maybe what I'll do is I'll drop just a little bit of paint into the pulp as it's mixing. And I may go ahead and do maybe 5 sheets that may have like a little bit of an purple tint. Purple? Yeah, purple. And so I might do that. But look at that. Aren't they that pretty? I think they're gorgeous papers. I think they're beautiful handmade papers. And you can use just anything, your old junk mail. And because these were already vintage colored papers, they were already, and there was some print on some of the papers, a little bit of print on some of the page, because it was just strips, that I cut from around the other pages. So yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, you guys, I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to read, of course. I'm going to read something. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to read this one here. I think I read that one recently, but I'm going to read it again. Oh, my fingernails popped off. I think it's a good thing, too, because this is green under there. I got to clip them and file them down. Well, my thumbnails didn't pop off, so they're still pretty. So I'll only just show my thumbnails. Okay, it's me again, God. Remember me, God? I come every day just to talk with you, Lord, and learn how to pray. You make me feel welcome. You reach out your hand. I need never explain, for you understand. I come to you frightened and burdened with care, so lonely and lost and so filled with despair. And suddenly, Lord, I'm no longer afraid. My burden is lighter and the dark shadows fade. Oh God, what a comfort to know that you care, and to know when I seek you, you'll always be there. I like that one a lot. In fact, I think I have read that one recently in one of my videos, but this one sure does need read again. Okay, and words help me. Words help me. Sometimes words hurt me, but most of the time, when I hear words that hurt me, I have to think about them words that hurt me, and do I want to accept those words or do I want to let them go? And usually I let them go. And so, but yeah, thank you for watching. And I don't know if y'all do some paper making, but if you do, you might have some advice. One thing I need to know is if there's something I can add to the paper pulp that will, see how some of these places the feathers are not embedded in the paper real well. So if anybody knows what I can add to the paper pulp that won't change, I don't, I want the matte finish of the paper and that stuff. That doesn't actually change the paper, but just kind of holds it together. There might be something. And so, and you all might have the magical answers. And so I ask God to watch over each and every one of you. Let's see, according to the clock, tomorrow is Christmas. So this is Christmas Eve. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. My son's birthday. He's 50 years old today. Okay, and I ask God to watch over you every step you take, every move you make, and I will see you on the next video. God bless.